And welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First. This is that series where we talk about those brand new number one issues, new character debuts, new story arcs, and the like. And this is for books that are coming out the week of March 26th. So, yeah, the last books of March that we're going to talk about this week. But before I get into all of that, I just want to take a minute to say that it's my birthday today. So I've got a lot of books to cover, but I'm going to try to cover them quickly because I'm recording this right before I'm posting this. Actually, I usually record it the night before, but it's 7 o'clock Friday night, and dinner is simmering on the stove. We're about to watch a movie and all that stuff to just kind of have a chill birthday. So I'm going to try to go through these quickly, but just want to let you know it's my birthday today. So yeah, I'm happy to share a small portion of my birthday with you. So I hope you enjoyed this show. So let's get into it. I have only had the opportunity to read a couple of the first from last week so far. So those I will be talking about right now, which the first one is Power. Who are the Power Pals from Dark Horse Comics? And this is written by Dwayne Murray with art by Ahmed Rafat. So the concept for this one sounded kind of interesting. It's about these two kind of you could say washed up, but they never really made it. So debatable if they're actually washed up or not. But washed up actors that were these characters Buzzard and Swallow on this TV show in the 90s called the Power Pals that lasted half a season, and then they were canceled and nobody wanted the merch and all of this stuff. And years later, they are trying to find fame again. They work at the studio as security guards, and they're trying to still audition for roles and everything, and like cop number 5 and number 6 and that kind of thing. So yeah, things aren't really working out for them. So they get some advice to try to go viral, basically. And so they put on their costumes, go out and do different things, and they kind of catch the wrong attention by a bunch of different people. So that's where the hilarity ensues and everything. Fun concept, right? So reading this, it felt very relatable in a little over the top, a little exaggerated into how things would be in under these circumstances, especially when the one guy actually wants to go fight crime. But at the same time, very relatable, something that you could see someone kind of doing to try to get attention, to try to catch that 15 minutes of fame again, and all of that. So conceptually, sounds really fun. Reading this though, and it could just be the mood that I was in. It could be because it's my birthday and I'm getting older, whatever the case may be. It was a little depressing, if I'm being perfectly honest. It was a little depressing, a little bit of a downer, reading through this and reading what these guys are going through. Even though one of them is very positive and sees the positive light and everything, it still felt very, I don't know. And again, it could be the mood that I was in as I read it, but for whatever reason, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. I still think it's a fun concept, and it could go some hilarious places if they play it that way. It is very much in the vein of other superhero books that Dark Horse has put out. So, if those are your kind of thing, this might be one to check out. Otherwise, just be wary that if you're in the wrong headspace, this might not be the book you want to bring you out of it, right? So, especially if like you're, and I'm not, but if you are like an aging actor and you you might get some PTSD from this. I don't know, but anyway, that's who are the Power Files. The other book that I did get a chance to read is actually the first book that I read was Absolute Flash issue number 1. Excited about this one, obviously. Jeph Lemire writing this with art by Nick Robles. So colors by Adriano Lucas, letters by Tom Napolitano. So this is the first instance of the Flash in the Absolute universe. So this is Wally West, but we do see Barry Allen here, but their origin story is completely different. Wally is an army brat. He's on this military base. He can't make friends. There's nothing really for him to do. He's bored out of his mind, and his dad and him don't really get along since his mom passed away. They're kind of at each other's throats. They don't understand each other. And Barry Allen has some sympathy for Wally and tries to kind of take him under his wing, which makes Wally's dad very mad. So anyway, the way that the powers come to be with Wally is very similar in the way that it kind of happened in the main continuity, just in a different setting, different circumstances, but basically the same result. But now we kind of had this. We jump back and forth in time a little bit, just showing like where he's at now, what's going on now, then kind of flashback and let us, see how he got there, and then flashback forward is how it was kind of set up. But it flowed very organically. It wasn't jolting at all. And now there's a bunch of people after him because he has these abilities, right? So now he's kind of having to be on the run, but he's very down and very, kind of survivor's guilt in a way. He feels like he doesn't deserve these powers and that kind of thing. So very different take on Wally in that sense. And I really kind of like this. It's not the, jovial kind of joking around Flash that we're getting. We're getting a teenage angst Flash, which it's a different kind of twist for him. So it's interesting so far, and I really like this first issue. I thought the art was really good, and the storytelling flowed nicely. Like I said, very organically. I love the relationship between Barry and Wally, even in the different settings, even though they're not related by marriage or any of that stuff. You still have that same bond that they form. So yeah, I think this was a great first issue, and I like this better than Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman, personally. So it's another one that's made my list of the Absolute books, and we'll talk about another Absolute book in a little bit that might not, but we'll get there. But that's all the recaps that I have, so we're going to jump right into those honorable mentions. So first up, we have Godzilla versus Fantastic Four, issue number 1. I'm not the hugest fan of these kind of crossover books. I know Mike Spiderslayer is. He gets these sometimes. Other people like them as well. Obviously, they wouldn't be publishing so many of these kind of things if they didn't. I kind of steer clear of these, just not because of anything. It's just not my thing. And I read so many books that it's kind of hard to jump into these kind of things as well, especially if it's not one that I'm absolutely in love with. Now, I love the modern, like Godzilla, King Kong movies and stuff like that. But I'm not like an old school fan of those, of the kaiju thing. It's just not really my thing. So that's kind of why this one is not one that I personally would go for. But if you're a big Godzilla fan, you're a big Fantastic Four fan, this is definitely one you should check out. This is round 1 in a series of 6 one-shot throwdowns, pitting Godzilla versus different characters. So there you go. If Fantastic Four is not your bag, but you do love Godzilla, just wait for the next one. So there you go. Next up, we have Bitterroot, the next movement. Now, I've never read the Bitterroot series, but I wanted to make any fans of this series aware that there is a new installment of this franchise, of this series, coming, and it is coming out now. It's 1964, in the height of the civil rights movement. And if you have read this book and you really like it, let me know. This just was not a book on my radar. I've seen it here and there, but I don't know much about it aside from the time period and all that stuff. But yeah, if this is a really good book that should be on my pull list, let me know. Next, we have Illuminati. So this is a gathering of the most elite Deadpools throughout the multiverse, and they are judging whether 616 Wade Wilson is worthy of Illuminati status. This is in the honorable mentions just because I don't know if I'm actually going to pick this up. I like Deadpool, but I like Deadpool in small chunks. I like him when he's handled well, and I think the current series by Cody Ziegler is doing him perfectly, and I don't really need more of Deadpool than that. So, but if you really like seeing all these other Deadpool characters from the movie, you might want to pick this one up. Next, we have Our Brilliant Ruin, a horror at Crane Mansion. This is spinning off of the tabletop RPG game of the same name. So if you are a big fan of Our Brilliant Ruin or at Horror at Crane Mansion, I don't know which, I guess it's Horror at Crane Mansion. If you're a big fan of, or a player of the RPG, you might want to check this out. It does sound kind of cool. It's murder mystery-ish kind of thing, so that's more up my alley. I have no connection to the tabletop though, but I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. And the final shout out, or honorable mention, I should say, is Vampirella issue number 1, a new chapter for this series written by Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest, and art by Ergen. I'm gonna butcher this. Ergen Gundas. I'm sorry. I apologize, but if you know, you know. Christopher Priest returns for the long night as the long night begins, as Vampirella's infant son, stolen by her evil twin Draculina, has finally been returned to her. But Vampy does not know the baby, has not bonded with him, and lost and alone begins spiraling in postpartum depression. So if you want to see your Vampirella having postpartum depression, this is the run for you. Go check it out. All right. With that said, let's get into those rated books. First up, we have from Image Comics, You'll Do Bad Things, issue number 1. This is written by Tyler Boss with art by Adriano Turtolucci. And this is 10 years after He Came with a Smile, which was a true crime smash hit that chronicled the brutal murders committed by the nursery rhyme killer. In the decade since this release, this author, Seth Holmes, hasn't produced any more work, and he wants to write this story with a happy ending, but every time he writes, it's bloody, it's death, it's all this barbarity, and so on and so forth. So it says, turn the page on this Gallo-inspired thriller from multi-hyphenate Tyler Boss and breakout talent art Adriano Turtolucci. So if you like true crime stuff or spins on true crime and the fascination with true crime, this might be up your alley. For me, I'm going to give it a potentially good. I'm not familiar with the creative team, but I do like, stories about, murder mysteries and that kind of thing. So that's more up my alley. So I'm going to check this one out from Image Comics, and again, potentially good for me. Next up, also from Image Comics and the Ninth Circle imprint, is a tale from Garth Ennis and Dalibor Talajek. So top-notch creative team here. If you're a fan of either of their work, you want to check it out. I do like Dalibor's art. I'm not a huge follower of Ennis's work. I'm obviously very familiar with it, but this book called Kids is got a really interesting concept. It's basically every single child at the age of 1 instantly is replaced by some deranged creature that nobody understands, and they don't know where their kids went, why these creatures are here, and all of this stuff. So it's a horror, if I can speak, it's a horror infused tale involving children being replaced with gruesome monsters. So if that's your bag, that's up your alley, you want to check it out. For me, I'm going to give it a possibly good, just because, again, Ennis's work isn't always for me personally. I know a lot of people love it, so I might try this one out. I don't know. It depends on how many books I'm getting, all that stuff, but possibly good for me. Next up for me is Far Down Below, or next up is Far Down Below from Mad Cave Studios, not from me, from Mad Cave Studios. Wow. That's what happens when I try to rush through all this stuff. Anyway, this is set in the 80s, so I'm already paying attention. It's involving a haunted house and a spooky stuff. Got me. You're hooking me in. It's by Mad Cave. I'm there. I'm trying this one out. Chris Condon writing. Gabe, did I read that right? Gage Shaw is the artist on this one. So basically, these teenage friends are bored. It's rainy. They're looking for something fun to do. They go to this haunted house that's notoriously haunted, this abandoned family home and all this stuff. And it's in eastern Pennsylvania, so it's New England. It's, rainy. It's creepy. It's where all the creepy, eerie stuff, happens. That, place between the Midwest and the East Coast, and just in that area, right? Like it's all that stuff, and all Stephen King stuff takes place up in like Maine and stuff like that. So it's just those areas are creepy, and there's a lot of history there, right? So anyway, Eastern Pennsylvania suburb, and the supernatural stuff, or I don't know if it's supernatural, but it is danger. It sends them on an adventure. It's kids in the 80s, Stranger Things esque, maybe. I don't know which route they're going with it, but it sounds fun. So I am giving this one a potentially good. If I was more familiar with, like, if I had seen previews or I was more familiar with the creative team, maybe I'd give this a promisingly good, but I'm going to hedge my bets and go with potential right now. All kinds of Absolute books this week. This is not the one I was referencing earlier in the show, but Absolute Wonder Woman #6 is on the list because we are getting the origin of Diana's deadly weapons in this issue. So the weapons that she uses in the Absolute universe, if you've wondered how she came about them, since they weren't the traditional way that she received them, you're going to find out in this issue. And it's a 2-part guest arc from the artist of the call, Matea de Lulis, who is an amazing, beautiful, talented artist. I love their work, so I'm really excited actually for the art in this one, because I haven't loved the art style of the previous art or previous issues. So this one is actually edged it up a little bit on my radar, and because of that, I'm going to give this one a promisingly good, just because of the art alone. And yeah, we'll see how it. I'm curious to see how I feel about the book with different art style, because again, the art style is one of the things that pulled me out of the first few issues of this book, why it's a little bit lower, but also the story is just not as interesting to me as Superman and Batman, or now the Flash. So I'll see if the art makes a difference. We'll have to test that out. But anyway, promisingly good for me. Next, from Image, we have Universal Monsters, The Mummy #1, the next installment in the Universal Monsters series of books that they've been doing. I'm just going to right off the bat tell you that this one is getting a possibly good for me. And the reason being, I've tried all the previous like monster books, and I liked them at first, but I tend to lose interest or forget about them, and I don't finish them. So I didn't finish Creature from the Black Lagoon. I didn't finish Frankenstein. So that's kind of why I'm on the fence about it, if I'm even going to check it out, because that's kind of been the way that it's been going for me. This is written by Faith Aaron Hooks with, written and illustrated by Faith Aaron Hooks. So, Hicks, sorry. So yeah, if you're a fan of Faith's, you'll want to check this out. It says Helen Grosvenor is a woman born to two worlds and belonging in neither. Forever haunted by a cursed encounter as a child, when unknown voices bring her back to an Egyptian dig site from her past, Helen will unknowingly play an unexpected role in the rise of the monster known only as the Mummy. Now, I did love the Mummy movies, so maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll give the first issue a shot. I'm a little on the fence because of my experience with the previous ones, which were good. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't enough to, keep me hooked with so many other books and titles that I'm currently reading. So that's just where I'm at with it. Next up is another one that I'm not sure that I'm getting. I have been getting all the One World Under Doom stuff, but we'll see about this one. This is Doom's Division issue #1, and this is featuring Tiger Division, which is a South Korean team that is now under Doom's control, advisement, whatever. He is he is ordering Tiger Division now. So if you're familiar with any of the South Korean characters that they introduced in previous different one-shots and series and stuff, they're good characters. They're interesting characters. I don't know exactly which characters we're focusing on in this particular book. You can see a shot of some of them there. But they're interesting characters with interesting backstories and everything. But because they are just kind of sporadically thrown at us and there's nothing continuing, it says White Fox is one of them. it's hard to kind of get attached to them, or really learn more about them, and know if you're going to continue, if you're going to like future stories with them and everything, because we get so many, so few instances of these characters in the comics that we don't know them well enough. We're not familiar with them enough. So I just don't know how I feel about this one. So we'll see. I'll read just a little bit of the description. It says, Dr. Doom rules the planet, but instead of chaos, he created world peace. Where does that leave Tiger Division, South Korea's foremost defenders? As agents of the National Intelligence Service under White Fox, they're ordered to uphold a new world order with the help of some new team members. But not everyone is content in Doom's utopia. So there's going to be some new team members joining the team. There's going to be some tension in the team. It could be interesting. I'll probably check the first issue out. I just don't know how to feel about it yet. So for this one, I'm going to give it a potentially good, and we'll see what happens with it. Next up is a double-sized first issue from Image Comics called We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, issue number 1. And this is brought to us by brilliant, as it says in the description, brilliant artist Stefano Landini and okay writer Matthew Rosenberg. So if you're a Rosenberg fan, you're already paying attention to this. So this 13-year-old girl's mad scientist father is killed by the greatest spy in the world. And now she has to decide if she takes her dad's robot bodyguard, who follows her around everywhere, which she has no idea why, to live a normal life for the first time ever, or if she goes on a path of revenge against this super spy. So that's kind of the journey. I'm already hooked by the concept. To be honest, I think that's pretty interesting. I'm not familiar with the artist, at least by name. Probably will when I see it. But yeah, the concept alone has got me, and I'm giving this one a promisingly good. It sounds right up my alley, so I'm hoping for good things, and we'll check it out and see what it has to offer for us. Next, from DC Comics, we have Peacemaker presents the Vigilante Eagly double feature, issue number 1. This is a 32-page book for $3.99. Ties into, well, I don't know if it ties into the Max series, but James Gunn is a consultant, a story consultant for this series. Or is this series or is it one shot? Yeah, it's a 5-issue series. So it's a 5-issue series of beat beat calamity when two fan favorite characters share the spotlight and equal page count. The Vigilante story starts when Peacemaker has disappeared. It's up to Adrian Chase, the Vigilante, and Peacemaker's bestest friend to find him. So if you are a fan of these characters from the TV show, I've not watched the TV show yet. I did watch Suicide Squad. I am a wrestling fan, so I'm probably going to watch it at some point. I just have not yet. But I've liked certain comic series that have come out with Peacemaker. I think it's kind of funny. I like Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad movie, so I probably will like the series, and I'll probably like this book, especially with James Gunn being a story consultant in it. But if you're a fan of these, you're definitely going to want to check it out. For me, I'm going to give this one a promisingly good, just because of the involvement of that, and because of the last Peacemaker story I read, I thought was really funny. So yeah, promisingly good for me for Peacemaker presents the Vigilante Eagly double feature. Here's that book I was talking about earlier, Absolute Martian Manhunter by Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez. This is the one that I am on the fence about. So we got a preview of this book in the comics this week, right? So I don't know how to feel about it, because I didn't really love the art style. I didn't really love the character development that we got so far. That said, this is only good comics. This is not only bad comics or negative reviews or all that stuff. So far, the Absolute Universe stuff has been solid at the very least. At the very best, absolutely phenomenal. So nothing has been bad so far. I'm going to hold out hope that this is equally as good as at least the worst Absolute book, which is still really solid, if you follow that logic. Can't judge the entire book by 5-page preview or whatever it was. This is a 40-page book for $4.99. And what we saw in that preview was basically the Martian Manhunter kind of having an identity crisis and seeing things and not being able to connect with his kid or his wife, and everybody being creeped out a little bit. And it was kind of weird. And it kind of gave me like 50s vibes a little bit. So it could be interesting. I'm willing to read the first issue and kind of, give it a chance before I make a final decision on it. But for now, I'm just going to give it my lowest rating, which is a possibly good. And we'll see. Next, we have X-Manhunt Omega, issue 1, obviously. This is the finale, the conclusion to this X-Manhunt story. And this book is written by Gail Simone. And I'm going to butcher this too. Marewa Ayatali. I'm so sorry if I butchered that completely. Art by Enid Balam and Gleb Melkinov and Frederica Manson. So anyway, this is the conclusion to the X-Manhunt story. I am behind on this, but what I've read so far, I've really enjoyed. So I'm curious to see where this all lands at the end and where all the X-Men are and where they are with Professor X at the end of this. So it said, I'm just going to read a little bit here. Alliances will be battle tested. The blades of betrayals will cut deep with poison tips. And when the dust finally settles, Charles Xavier will have to make a tectonic shifting choice with the fate of all mutant kind in the balance. So that sounds heavy. That sounds very interesting. And that sounds like something I'm going to have fun reading. This is a 48-page book for $6.99. So with X-Manhunt Omega, especially with Gail Simone at the helm, I'm giving this one a promisingly good. And lastly, Batman issue 158 on here because it is the sequel to Hush, finally here. Jeph Loeb, Jim Lee, this is the first issue that kicks it off. And that's all the information we have about it, but that's all you really need to know, right? This is the sequel to Hush. It's, highly anticipated. I'm giving this one a promisingly good, and I cannot wait to read it. I'm really curious about it, how they're going to handle it, how it's going to measure up, all that good stuff. So yeah, Batman 158, promisingly good from me. So with all of the rated books out of the way, we will talk about some other books that are not first issues, with a couple of exceptions at the very end, which I'll explain when we get there. But let's start with Doom Academy issue number 2. I really liked the first issue. I was worried that, and I talked about this on the show, I was worried that somebody else handling these kids might not do them justice. We've seen it before. So I was a little skeptical of how this one was going to go, but I felt like this one was very in tune with these characters, just in a different setting. And I really like the challenge of being in Doom School as opposed to Strange's School, and the mysteries that we got. It feels like its own thing. I compared it to Gotham Academy. I really like this book, so I'm excited for this next issue. Excuse me. Green Lantern number 21, Starbreaker enters the fray here. I love what's happening with the Green Lantern books now that we've really shifted the focus, and we're starting to veer off into these different paths now. It says Hal is trying to make his way back to Kyle, Superboy, and Odyssey, but now this Starbreaker thread has shown up, and so it's just interesting stuff again with the Green Lantern Corps and Hal, and I'm here for it. Ultimate Wolverine number 3, first 2 issues really good, and now we have Wolverine versus Gambit and Kitty Pryde. That's all you got to say to me. I'm down. Bring it on. I Heart Skull Crusher number 8, finally here. It says, don't miss this absolutely epic screaming paintball showdown, as well as a mind-boggling surprise from the mysterious stranger that you'll never see coming. Now, I read this description weeks ago because this book has been really delayed, so hopefully it actually comes out. I'm excited about it, and that's why I put it on this list. Radiant Black number 32. 31 was a great reboot, reset, whatever you want to call it, fresh start to head us off into a different direction. I really liked the direction it took us. We're getting back down to the boiled down daily life of Marshall and his struggles, both in his personal life and his superhero life. I like this. And we're continuing it here as he tries to balance everything. And we're getting more of his personal life stuff in this issue as well. Superman number 24. No Mercy, a war on two fronts, it says. Mercy Graves is the new CEO, and Lex is confident now calling shots and all this stuff. So things are on the edge here. Things are changing, and it feels like, I don't know. I know Superman and Lois are skeptical a little bit. Lois has, been dealt a heavy blow in other places and everything, where the whole doomsday stuff and all that stuff that's going on. She's kind of having doubts about having these powers and all that stuff. So there's a lot going on in Superman's world, but this book has been really good so far. So looking forward to this issue. Barrel number 11. So these last two books are ones that I probably could have included in first. The reason for this one, it says it's a perfect jumping on point for new readers. So this is a new arc. They have escaped the clutches of the crazy cat lady, and now they're off onto the next leg of this journey. So that's why this one could have been a first. This is a fantastic book as well. Looking forward to seeing what the next chapter brings us. And then Ultimate Spider-Man number 15, because we are getting Ultimate Sandman attacking. So curious to see that battle now for Peter and MJ and everything, as they're going off on a family vacation and have to deal with Sandman. So that's going to be a fun one as well. So that's it. That's all the books I got to talk about. Gonna go enjoy my birthday dinner now. Hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help. And of course, it's my birthday, so it'll make me feel extra good, right? Of course, you can hit that subscribe notification bell so you don't miss any of the other episodes, whether it's my birthday or not. Next episode, by the way, is episode 75. We've done 75 episodes of this show so far next week. So, yeah, yay us. And of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, or type in onlygoodcomics.com to take you right back to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care, keep reading those comics, and I'll see you soon.